Here's a fascinating example of why it's not only helpful to study the Hebrew of the Old Testament, but also the Greek translation of the Old Testament, the Septuagint. Because the Septuagint heavily influenced New Testament writers. And sometimes the New Testament writers will choose their Greek in such a way as to echo what's happening in the Old Testament, and that echo is clearly heard when you compare the Greek of the Old Testament with the Greek of the New Testament. So here's the example. Luke 7. Jesus has raised the widow's son at Nain, and then we're told he gave him to his mother. Now that's 6 words in Greek. Kai, edokon, auton, te, metri, autou. And those same 6 Greek words occur in the Septuagint in 1 Kings 17 to describe what Elijah did. Elijah also raised a widow's son and then gave him to his mother. Now, if you're reading the Old Testament in Greek and you're reading the New Testament in Greek, you're going to see the connection between these 2 events. So what Luke is alerting us to is that Jesus has performed an Elijah-like miracle. In fact, the response of the crowd is, a great prophet has risen among us. So this is a way in which Luke, by choosing that language to describe what Jesus did, is establishing, making sure we see the connection to Elijah. Now, Jesus comes as the new and the greater Elijah. He's a prophet, but he's more than a prophet. But the ministry of Elijah does establish kind of a blueprint or foreshadowing what Jesus will do in his own ministry.